Live for the Power Chat series and the Capital Classics post show. I have a guest on here today, Sarah Campbell, representing Team AKA. She was one of the winners at the US Capital Classics, and I'm excited to have her on and talk about both the tournament, how she did, and more about her. So, Sarah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. This is the first time I've had you on the Power Chat series. We bring on winners, and so that's an indication that you did good. But why don't you tell everybody how you performed at the Cap Classics?
So I had a really good weekend. I ended up winning two of my divisions, and then I was lucky enough to be able to take the 18 plus women's weapons overall grand championship. And it was a division that had a lot of really talented competitors. And so I'm just really thankful to be able to have taken that title.
So, speaking of talent, why don't you talk about the competition both for your divisions and then what you saw around you?
Yeah, so we had a ton of just top competitors. I feel like this tournament attracted such great talent. I know our grands on stage had like six competitors in it, which was, I think, the largest division in that night show. And so it was just really incredible to have such a diverse array of talent. And the same thing was with our divisions. We had some divisions that were up to like 9 or 10 people, and they were just super stacked. And walking around the tournament, you would see just all the normal like NASCA competitors and just some more local competitors as well that just really brought great divisions. And also with the China Open going on at the same time, you would look across like the room and you could see some of those divisions going on. And so it was really cool to be able to see a more diverse range of competitors too.
Six different women, that means six different forms, all styles represented, and things like that. Now, talk about what do you think helped differentiate your form with the others, and what makes you special as a martial artist?
So I do the bow staff, and I was doing creative bow when I won this past weekend. And so I think just being able to bring a strong foundation with my traditional basics while also bringing some difficulty with my releases, I was able to pull off the win by having just that kind of more complete package where I could really bring through that performance and create a show, which I mean, it's the night show, so you want to put
Mhm.
on a good show. And so I feel that really helped me this weekend.
The Cap Classics always puts on a great show, especially I find that one of the nice things is it's so lit. Sometimes that's a complaint for the competitors who are doing weapons like yourself, tossing, but it just feels like all eyes on the competitor. The spotlight is on you. And can you talk to me more about what you were feeling when you won that overall?
Definitely. The lights are actually like one of my favorite things about competing at a night show. You really get to just embrace that performance aspect of competing. So for me, like I step on that stage for the night show, and rather than thinking about I'm competing against other competitors, I really just put myself in the mindset of putting on a performance and getting to show the crowd. And now that we have like the live streams going, just really getting to embrace that I go put on a show. And so those lights, while they can be kind of hard to see to catch your weapons sometimes, just really bring that aspect to it. And so being able to come off of that form and hit a solid form and then end up winning, it was really awesome. Yeah.
And you're also on Team AKA. It's a well represented team. There's a lot of people on there of all age ranges that come out to compete. Were they there supporting you? And did you get to walk off that stage with some of your teammates congratulating you?
Yeah, so I actually had a lot of my teammates cheering me on during that division. And so when it was over, I went and found my family first because the first time I won a overall back at competes, I was by myself, so I didn't get to like have that moment with my family. So I was able to go and see them first, but then my teammates found me And so it was really cool, especially because some of them also were able to win an overall that night.
Were you able to catch any of the other divisions, and how did the competition for the night show look at this tournament?
I wasn't able to see a whole lot of the night show because I was in the hallway working on my form and we were set to go pretty late in the show. So I'd occasionally pop in, but from what I saw, it was a ton of top competitors and they were all just really bringing the show. And the men's division was one of the ones right before we went. And so I was able to see a lot of that. And so just being able to see everyone just going out there, giving it their all, really brings the excitement. And you could tell that the crowd was really into it that night.
Were you able to take advantage of one of the things I love about this tournament is not only the hotel, but the location. Were you able to take advantage, if not for a meal or a little stroll around?
Yeah, the weather was super nice this weekend as well. On Thursday night, I was able to go to the National Zoo. And so that was really exciting, just being able to go downtown to DC for a little bit. And then I would walk around National Harbor, and we were able to go on the Ferris wheel there and try out some restaurants. And it's such a beautiful area.
That's awesome. Now, how long have you been competing? You're in the 18 plus women's division on AKA. So tell me a little bit more about your backstory and everyone else.
Yeah, so I've actually only been competing NASCA for about 4 years. I attended my first NASCA tournament back in 2016, but that was the AK Warrior Cup. And so that tournament is really like special to me, but I didn't get to start competing actually consistently on NASCA till 2018. And so I kind of started out in fighting. And at my first NASCA tournament, I placed like dead last in weapons. I didn't do quite as bad in fighting, but I really fell in love with the sport through the forms and weapons, the CMX. I was able to watch top competitors like Jackson Rudolph and Mary Amato and Reed Presley on the stage. And so just being at my first ever NASCA tournament, it really made me fall in love with that part of the sport. And so I've just kind of been competing ever since like 2018 and just continuing to develop my skills.
How full circle is that to have your first tournament, your first NASCAR tournament be AKA, and then now you're representing them? Can you tell me how you got onto the team, when, and what it was like?
Yeah, so I work with Gabrielle Rudolph also. And so she's one of the captains of Team AK. And so I kind of found out about AK through her. And she had invited me to go to some of the team practices back in 2019. But then 2020 came and everything shut down. And so Team AK actually started hosting these virtual Zoom training sessions, and they would bring in some of the past competitors from the team, and some of the captains would come on, and we would just have these group training sessions. And so that's what really kind of acquainted me with the team. And so from then, I was invited to join Team AK in the fall of 2020. So still really no NASCA tournaments, but I was on the way home from a tournament that was happening and I got a call. And I don't normally answer calls from random numbers. So I did not answer the call.
That's
But
funny.
I get a text from Gabrielle, like I think in like all caps saying, look at your email. And so I opened the email and I had got on Team AK. And so that was just really cool and exciting.
That's a common theme that I've heard when was it Alex Mancias got into Paul Mitchell, or was it Dawson? One of the two, they didn't pick up their phone because they didn't recognize the number, and actually they just hit decline on it when they had an opportunity right at their phone. So now how did you get into martial arts? You've only been competing for 4 years, one of which was COVID year, and you're already winning overalls. How did you get from where you started to where you are now?
Yeah, so I started martial arts when I was 8, back in 2011. And so I just thought it was something fun. I did an after school program I had no idea that like sport martial arts existed at all. I was just learning, self defense, having some fun. And then I was able to get into competing because one of the instructors at my school, he was competing in some NASCA tournaments and some local tournaments for fighting. And so that's kind of how I was able to get into the sport in general. And so from there, I was able to be lucky enough to start working with Jackson Rudolph as a coach. And that really just helped me develop myself as a martial artist even further.
Now, where are you originally from?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, got it. Alrighty. And so your first overall was compete, and this is your second overall.
Yeah.
Do you still compete in fighting at all?
Could you repeat that?
Sorry, I might have broken up. Do you still compete in fighting? I know that's where you kind of started, but are you now just focusing on forms and weapons?
Yeah, so I haven't fought, I don't think, since like 2019. I keep watching the fighting divisions and going, I kind of want to do that again because I really miss it. It's something I love doing, but I didn't love competing at as much as I loved just fighting for fun and just
Mhm.
enjoying the training of it. And so it's something that I kind of look at and I go, I'd love to do that again, but probably not going to.
Yeah, especially when you get it's not fighting at the women's level is not one of those things you can just like dabble in, you know? It maybe in the juniors when you are younger, but definitely understand that.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, what is now your next tournament?
I'm going to be at Amerikick next weekend.
Okay. The that's a quick turnaround. Are there anything that you kind of wanted to tweak in between Cap Classics and America that you're able to address in that short amount of time?
Yeah, so since it's such a short amount of time, I've been studying my form some, but it's definitely a delicate balance of what changes I can make in the short amount of time without causing more problems to potentially happen because I'm messing with like timing or just what I'm doing where. And so I'm kind of like looking at small changes to just overall help my performance, but nothing too major.
Got it. Okay. This is very smart. It's strategic. And what's your next goal? I know you won two divisions at this one and an overall, but how many divisions do you compete in total? And are you looking to build upon your performance this past weekend?
Yeah, so I compete in I think 5 divisions total. So just continuing to build up those wins and hopefully win some more overalls, but really just continue to improve myself. And I had throw a pretty difficult form, but I want to continue just pushing the difficulty as much as I possibly can. Really just focusing on the performance of my form and getting it to be the best I possibly can and continuing to just inspire others to do the same.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I am looking forward to watching your future successes, and as you compete and continue to grow. Is there anyone that you wanted to shout out, or any last things that you wanted to say about yourself?
Yeah, so I guess I just shout out to my family and my coaches and just all my friends who have been there to support me, especially when like the night show's happening. Just
Mhm.
having everyone there and their support makes it really comforting and helps my confidence just to be able to run a clean form. And I really appreciate all of them.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the Power Chat series and also the post show for the Cap Classics. I had an awesome time chatting with you, learning about you, and I can't wait to have you on again potentially.
Thank you so much.
All right, for everyone watching, thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching the Power Chat series. Take care.